Welcome back to 40i Amped. I'm here with Saya, multimodal musician, songwriter, creative Swiss Army knife.
Like,
Happy to be here with you, man.
that's the lie. I appreciate that. That was tough. That was I didn't expect that, but that was tough. I'm gonna steal that one. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, so it's been
I
a long
fuck with that.
time. It's been a long time coming, and like I want to know, like, just tell us about Saya. Saya.
I'll say this. I'm a person who has known who he is and who he's supposed to be for a long time, since I was about 4 years old, as we'll probably go over when we talk about Netcut song and stuff like that. And I followed that my entire life. I've been afforded the opportunity, the ability, and the like chances really to do that. Little context, my mother saw the special kid that she had, that I was reading at, 2 and doing certain things that showed, a gift, and she put everything behind me, and like, not only did she put everything behind me, but, giving me the tools, the respect, all of that stuff, making sure that I was a, respectable young man, but also she was a hairstylist that worked in a barbershop. So little did she know what she wished would have been better, been able to have me in this and have me in that was perfect, because not only was I like a smart kid who was getting good grades, but she gave me all the street smarts. I was in a pop culture box every day. You know what I mean? So I would say that because of my experiences as a youth, like as a kid, I've been able to like manifest and, come up with who I am today, who is a person who's trying to impact the world. That's me. I'm trying to leave my impact. Here to inspire the changes, and lead the leaders.
Yo, how did kind of like the location or like maybe the your like family situation? How did that impact? I heard that your mom was like supportive. Like, how did that help you now, today?
So she was supportive, very supportive. But okay, I'll put it to you like this: art is relatively new for me. I was a scholar through and through. The boy that was as loquacious and talkative as I am now still, but the books was where I did this. I built worlds in how many books I could read, how fast I could read Percy Jackson in 2 days, and getting to the autobiography of Malcolm X, being in Gifted and Talented program. So that impacted me in like a really amazing way, because like I got the ability, once again, and the experience to like do whatever. You know what I mean? Like my family, they saw something in me early, and they kind of, even to now, they kind of like sowed those seeds, but they still like left it open. Type, you know what I mean?
Let's convert that into music. Like, how does that, like the knowledge, the reading books, how does that now switch into the music?
So I like to say, like, I'm gonna answer that by saying this first in part. This is my favorite part, the interview part, because I get to talk to the people. I like to say that my plan is to be more honest with the media than I am with myself. And the reason is because I genuinely believe that my gifts are to orate. I'm an orator, and alchemist, a leader. I think those are the 3 best ways you can, describe me. I can. We were talking about a new word yesterday, bantering, and Omo was talking about how like I could sell, anything to anybody, if I believe in it, So I think those are my gifts, and I think that has translated. Whereas music is a medium, art itself is the true medium, in my opinion, that I found that's what I was doing in the books. But when you're 12, at least you're 12 and you have a Caribbean mother, you gonna have them books right, and you already showed that you can do it, and and you have an affinity for knowledge, you know, because that's one thing. I really love knowledge. I love to know. But I also love just what knowing and what information is in general, you know? So having that, that was my outlet. But when I got free, COVID year and things of that nature, that's when having a different outlet came. And now all of that, the same way that I am, the same mindset, thinking, you know, all of that has shifted into now music and how what I say in my music, what I'm talking about, what my overall message is. The fact that I want my music to point back to other things like films, films and my music videos for the world and stuff like this, like interviews. I want to talk to the world, you know, because I feel like that's what I was doing with the knowledge that I was getting for myself. I think now it's like sowing the seeds as a young man to like get into where, you know, my 30s and when I'm, you know, doing like big world stuff, you know. So I think that's kind of how it connects.
You're talking about like music being like a medium, like a conduit for some of this past experience, right? Mm-hmm. So how does that transparency, how do we see that transparency in the music?
I like that. That's a good question. If you listen to my music, I rarely say it was not true. In my music that's out. Don't get me wrong. I'll make a song and we're gonna talk about mad. We could talk about all the cars that I don't got, and because it's style. You know, I'm like, I still am training and sharpening that sword in terms of the style. But when it's going out, like for example, I'll give you a perfect example. On a song on my tape that's called the Juke tape. It's like more like trap kind of style music, like not like the super intentional either rap or R&B kind of that I give, the avant-garde that I usually put out for my like deeper albums. But it's called the Juke tape. I got a song called Schemin', right? It's the first song. Really bouncy, super smooth. The hook is, right now, I've been scheming, you talking bullshit, what's the reason? Fuck the automobile guests, cause I don't need them. A spaceship for my soul, sound better than me, man. So it's like one of them things where genuinely I try to like, okay, I'm gonna make it sound like there's just the flow is gonna be fire, but you're not gonna know that you're saying some real shit because I don't gotta say, and I got automobile. No, fuck the automobile guests, cause I don't need them. You know what I mean? Yeah. A spaceship for my soul sound better to me. You know what I mean? So it's like I put who I am and the way that I think, the metaphysical kind of outlook on reality and all of that shit, like the knowledge of self and the fact that I feel like that goes back inner, put that in my music. And you know, especially in like my latest album. But yeah, I put that all the way in my, especially when it's coming out. It's not gonna come out if I was cap rapping or lying or just styling to have fun and sharpening my sword. I'm just not gonna go out.
Yeah, I think that's important that like you have this awareness of like, all right, like I'm definitely gonna say what I mean, but like I could put it in a song that just sound like, you know, whatever to you, whatever, you know what I mean? But it's fun, you know?
Yes.
It's fun. So like, tell me about that too, like the difference between that music and then the stuff we're about to get into. Like, tell me more about that.
I love, so my friends will tell you, like, you don't make music, you don't be making music, you're not an artist for real. And I'm like, okay, whatever. But I've taken heed to what they said and it's like genuinely start to just, that booth I just hop in, play the song, I'm going. I've made a lot more music in the past couple months than I did in the first 3 months of the year because I was just so focused on putting out my content, just making sure that everything is like cohesive, especially because I dropped the album in January and I've been cooking ever since. Everything's from the album, so I've been trying to stay steadfast. But the difference, I would say, is there are certain times as an artist, any type of art, that you have to sharpen your tools and sharpen your sword. Whether you're a painter, you could be, I believe all art is art. You could be a hairdresser, a hairstylist. I've seen my mom have her little, whatever it's called, little mannequin with the hair and in practice. And she's doing stuff that I'm like, Mom, you don't even do, you know what I mean? You don't really do those styles like that. It doesn't matter, I think the difference is that sometimes you sharpening the sword. sometimes you may even want to put that stuff out to say, hey, I can show y'all that I'm not your savior. Because I probably would do stuff like that. You know what I mean? I want to be able to do what I feel can resonate as long as it has intention. You know, even if it's putting out, like, for example, a tape that I really love, that, you know, when we were talking about X earlier off camera, A Ghetto Christmas Carol. I wasn't saying nothing on that shit, but it was fun. You know, it was cool. So I think, you know, that stuff is good. It's important. But I also think that the music that you do intentionally choose to put out, you know, that stuff, it shows the parallel of, you know, being a human, like having depth and thought and what you want to say to the world, and also saying, hey, I trip and fall and fart and sweat and bleed and chill and fall asleep on the job and all that shit just like you. You know what I mean? So it's like, I think that's where those two different types of music kind of come in. And that's why I do think, even though I haven't up to this point, to put out both of those kind of things as, you know, an artist, and specifically one that is, you know, within the rap, R&B, all, you know, and alternative genres.
Yeah. I mean, you get into a lot of different like sounds, right?
I do.
And so,
I do.
how does that variety, like what influences that variety?
The people that I listen to, you know, big Kendrick Lamar fan growing up. That's where the rapping, you know, comes in. But being completely honest, even more than just music, as we spoke about, X was a huge influence on me because I loved the fact that I heard "Look at Me" and I thought it was two people on there. Mm-hmm. You know, the screamo part, I thought that was another person. Okay, that's him. All right, dope. Then the 17 comes out. I didn't really listen to 17. Question Mark comes out. I'm like, yo, he can do anything, any style. The Spanish, I don't even speak Spanish song was like crazy to me. I remember being on the phone. Shout out Reynaldo, he's doing this thing. He's a barber now. But me and my boy Reynaldo were on the phone listening to the album. I'm like, yo, this dude is dope. Like, he nice, because this is the same dude that was screaming, you know? And I always loved that. And I think in terms of me getting into a lot of styles, once again, I think I'm an orator, but I also think that where the quote unquote, you know, alchemists and changing those things come together is where, like, I'll give you another example of a person who I think is an orator. I think Tupac is an orator. You know, I think he's meant to speak. Rapping is a conduit, right? But I think where I differ from him is what we were talking about earlier. Whenever I create, I don't just I don't believe, not that I don't believe in that, because I do it sometimes, but I like the process of taking the science of something and putting art on top of it. So when it comes to mixing, I mix a certain way. When we're talking about cameras and stuff, the cinematic triangle, we're gonna do that, like we were saying earlier, because it's very important to get those things and then put your style and your flavor over it. So as it pertains to being an orator and trying to get my message through, I've also adopted a style of like, ooh, you can do anything with your voice. I try to do so much stuff with my voice. I like the fact that people don't, like, when I can show somebody a song and they won't know it's me. You know, just to give it a little context, I really love Doechii. Doechii's dope as hell, and half of them songs I didn't know were her. What it is, ho? What's up? That's Doechii. Like, what? And then she has the anxiety, and then she has the boom bap. You know, she has like, whoa, like your voice is like doing all these different things, and you're getting the same kind of like message across. I think that's like a style thing. Like, I love that, so that's why I get into it. You know, like, yeah. I like the people who can get their message across in so many different ways.
Yeah, I want to get into your eye for production, mm-hmm. and your eye for kind of like how you carry the message to us through visuals, right, and whatnot. So Professional Voice Memo is already like the album cover. Mm-hmm. We can just unpack that. We can just unpack that, right? Right. And then some of the visuals, like like, tell me about it. Tell me about your journey in making?
So I think the journey in professional voice memos, we got to start with the first album I dropped, Zero, All I Have, which was birthed from quite literally being at zero and giving all I had. That was super experimental. Like, super experimental. When I listened to that album, I'm like, ugh, you know? But I like it because it was like, okay, you are true to yourself, right? But the reason I say you have to start there is because if we're talking about the album cover, that album cover was, if you look at it, and I'll show it to you after we're done, like, I had my boy who did the Netcut song video, he drew it for me. And I said, hey, I want you to make, and it's like super crazy. It's like super, like, I don't care what anyone says. That album came out, what, 2022? Nobody has a better album cover that year. I don't care what nobody says. And obviously I'm an underground, artist, but we can do it. We can put it up. Get the best artist who's out there, and we're gonna put up my album cover from that, because it was so creative. It was super dope, and I love Max to this day for it. The album cover for Professional Voice Memos was simple. I said, Ra, let's go shoot. Shout out, Ra. Love you. I said, Ra, let's go shoot. We're gonna get the shot. We shot out a bunch of things. I kid you not, and this is such a full circle moment. That was the second to last shot Ra got. I took the bat and I just swung it, and I did. I don't know if I did it slow. I don't know how I did it, but I swung it, and it was like I was going with a couple other things before because I had come up with an idea. There was supposed to be a car in the background. It was kind of supposed to be somewhat similar to GNX. Even though GNX, I had the idea before GNX came out. So when it came out, we were like, oh my God, that's like so similar, boo boo. But this one was simple because it's like, let's get straight to it. I'm gonna hit you, and that's why the bat is there as well. My fault.
Let's put a pin in that.
Let's
right?
do it.
The conceptual idea of the album, right? When I saw it for the first time, it was like, wow, right?
I appreciate that.
When it comes to just the idea of voice memos, like, it's just something like, I use it personally. Hit that button and you press record and you just like spouting, right? You're just going because there's something working in there. So that feeling, why'd you want to portray that?
So I came up with the name and the idea because two things. I wanted to show that I was at a place in music where you're gonna press play on one of my songs and the sound is gonna be so full and mixed so well and mastered so well that you're like, this is good, right? Professionalism. I wanted to show a semi-professional vibe while still keeping, like I said from the last album, that avant-garde approach to each style, So that's where the professional voice memos comes on one side, but the second side was like connected to, she wanted to show professionalism is like, hey, like, I'm not there yet. This is my version of what is professional sound, some professional voice memos. And I came up with the idea and I was just like, and I said PVM, I'm like, ooh, that sounds good. You know what I mean? Like, but it really comes from the place of like, this is out the mud. I don't have $1 million studio, but I'm gonna give you $1 million sound, but it's gonna be a little dirty. So it's professional voice memos, and I think it just has a ring to it. It's like, okay, the expectation you're getting is like, all right, I'm listening to your ideas, your thoughts, your feelings that you're just putting down for the time, but you just you curved it, you did it so well, you put the shine on it, you put the right feeling into it, and you made it palatable and deliverable, and you can digest it real well. So yeah.
There's this artist, Mark Rothko, right? And one thing people say about his stuff, because it was very simple, it was very like, the approach is like two colors, whatever. But one thing people say is he removed the block between the art and the artist and just was able to produce.
Yes.
So did you visit that sort of idea?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's something I want to do. That's going to be, like I said, I want to be more honest with the media than I am even with myself sometimes. Because, this is not foolproof, but I believe that some of the best people are the best artists and vice versa. And some of the best artists are the best people. You know what I mean? Like, some artists are dope people, really chill, cool people, right? But at the end of the day, they're people, right? So I believe in, you're basically, the reason why Kai Cenat is so famous and so popular is because you feel like you're at home. It's a regular day. Like, there's nothing, you don't feel like he's special, but you feel like he's special. You know what I mean? You feel like you're communicating with someone that's on the same level as you. You don't feel like there's a distance, even though there's an inspiration to get to. They just took their regularity as a human being, specialized it, loved on it, and made it work. You know what I mean? So I think that's a focus for me to shed the barrier between being like an inspiration and somebody that people are looking like up to or celebrating, and them seeing me as a regular person. You know what I mean? Because it's like not even just a regular person, but seeing my personal life, seeing not personal life, but seeing my regular stuff. Like like I said, I bleed, sweat, shit, fart. You know what I mean? I do all of those things, and I want to show you that I do all of those things because it's like, if I could show you, if you see your favorite artist slip and fall, it makes you feel like you could go make music. Does that make sense? Yeah. Like, oh, word, he does the same thing I just did. I can make a song. It separates that. We're not special or different. We just taking the risk. That's all it is. So I think it's like, I want to show that. Like, take the risk and, yeah, that's all there is. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Emotionally, what are some of the places that you were at in different songs throughout the album?
The album I was supposed to drop, okay, so I'll put it to you like this. I lived in a totally different place in 2023, right? I lived in a totally different place in 2023, right? And the album was called Professional Voice Memos on my little whiteboard. And it was like 6 or 7 songs. That ended up being the Juke tape. The fun, bouncy, chill tape that I dropped. I dropped that in August of 2023. I dropped a song in December 2023 and did not drop in 2024 at all, focusing on camera and building, like what we're talking about, that eye for production. And then 2025, top of 2025 on my birthday, that's when it came out. So it took a while. And that is because it was so intentional. Like, it needed to be something that like could take you on a roller coaster of emotion, but you could enjoy. Like, this is good. Like, even if one of the big things I was gonna say with the album, at first it was supposed to be just an album of hits, but after a while I was like, nah, that's not what I want. One thing I wanted to say with the album is, even if it's not your style of music, you can appreciate or like the sound. It's like, this is knocking, this is tough. So the emotions that I went through, Wait is this, I cried to that song. I cried thinking of the lyrics to that song. NECA song was the last song. It took forever because I couldn't find the words. Slide was an awakening because I was sitting here with Blasian, we cooked it right there. And he was like, he showed me I could sing a little bit. You know what I mean? He showed me that I could do something like that. Armor was so like fulfilling because I literally called in Dean and I said, hey, I love Loyalty by Kendrick and Rihanna. Let's make a song like that. Sabi cooked the beat, Sabi and Blazing cooked the beat, we did that. You know what I mean? So everything had its own different kind of emotion to it. Oh, song like Fuck This, Fuck That at the end was me being dead ass angry and making a song that's nasty, perverted, and like one I wouldn't want my mom to hear. You know what I mean? So like, there's so many different emotions that I went through in this, and it was made that way, on purpose.
How are some of like those collaborations, especially being in Madhouse? How are some of those collaborations helpful to you as a person?
They're everything. I wouldn't have the preset that I make music on without Blasian. Shout out to God. I fuck with you, bro. Um, I wouldn't. My mixing style. I watched him. I'm like, okay, this is your preset. How do you do it? I wouldn't have that. I wouldn't have a knowledge of how to make the mix sound so full, like it's coming from everywhere, and still sound like one voice without blazing. Again, I wouldn't have the understanding of like when to put a beat cut and when to take certain pauses or distance between bars without like Sabi. Like being the collaborations are everything, because at the end of the day, no man is an island. My mom told me that all the time.
That's insane, bro. The way I was thinking about that in my head, like that's
No man is
insane.
an island. Telepathy. That's
insane.
our number one language, you know? But yeah, bro, like no man is an island. Is as much as you may feel like it, because I'm the type of person that could feel that way. You know, there's times I do feel that way. But at the end of the day, it's about checking yourself like, that's impossible. Because once again, what you don't do, someone does so well and they're feeling. I like to look at life in general and like the universe, everything as a puzzle, right? What's better to have one piece of the puzzle? It's a 100-piece puzzle. What's better to have one piece or 99 pieces? Doesn't fucking matter. Now, the beauty of that is, while I need all 99 pieces to be complete, I'm the one. So it's me, it's my world. I gotta manifest my world, right? But but if I then get arrogant and think, oh yeah, I'm the one, I'm that guy, yeah, I'm him.
The puzzle isn't complete.
I'm like, oh shoot, wait, I need all of y'all to be that. So it's literally that. You know, I do feel like I'm the one, but what's the one without the 99? I need all the other ones. And all the other 99, each of those people are the one. So it's the beauty of it. It's the beauty of, you know, what life is, you know? So I bring that to my creativity by like knowing that shit, everything I'm gonna do is gonna be somewhat collaborative. You know, even though I try to be self-sufficient in a lot of ways, collaboration is the nature of art, because creativity is accumulative, in my opinion. Yeah. We all have been building on the same thought bubble in wherever in the cosmos forever. You know what I mean?
Why did you bring Netcut to this album? And like how did the support of Max help push that?
So I'm gonna answer the first question and then we're gonna get to Max, right? Literally, Sabi, who produced the whole album, Blazer and Sabi, yeah, the whole album, he said, bro, you can't put it out if you don't have Netcut on it. Cause in like, I wanna say like October, November of 2023, he made a beat. He was like, yo, it's like an Alchemist, Griselda, Kendrick Lamar type beat. He was like, yo, bro, you gotta like do something with this. And I listened to it. Oh yeah, this is hard. And I was like, I'm gonna do the story of like my neck getting cut on it. I'm gonna call it Netcut song. I said that in this basement, probably right here. The stuff was a little bit out. This right here. My friend Annie was here. Shout out Annie. I think so, if I'm not mistaken. I said that, and like I said, it took so long to get the album together. So we're talking December of 2024, maybe like early December, maybe late November. I'm going through all the different beats, and I remember I was like, I might just not even put it on there. But Sabi didn't impress me. He was like, yo, you can't put it on. But like in my head, I'm like, that meant something. Him saying that meant something to me, somehow, some way. I was like, damn, you gotta try, bro. So I literally remember I wrote Let's Take It Back. I was 4 years old. I remember that. Grandma's house. I just wrote that on the bus on the way to work. And I'm like, nah, this is cool. But I was like, what I said was, it wasn't that same day. Whenever I did decide to cook it, I said, fuck it. Do these first couple lines and go from there. I literally did that. I said it in a nice tone. Ooh, okay, I like that. I'm cutting through. It sounds good. And I punched in the rest of the song. I didn't even write. I literally had to, like, after Grandma House, I literally said, cousins in the room, punching. I'ma state the facts, punching. It was something different about that day, and it's amazing that punching. I made it out with way more than a scratch, but it's some grace for that. Follow me. Literally that way. And it's like, okay. It just, so, and it's the last song, bro. Like, it's, in my opinion, the most impactful, most important song on the album, and it's the last song that I made. Yeah. You know?
So, like...
And, Max came in basically, Max had hit me a long time ago, said, hey, bro, I'm going to have an animation class in the spring of my junior year. After we did the cover, let me work with you again. Let's work. And literally, he texted me after the album had already been out. He's like, hey, bro, send me a song. I want to do this for you. I sent him that one. He was like, oh, I was like, I just made it. Maybe like 2 days. He was like, bro, this is crazy. And I said, Max, I trust you. Yeah.
It's like these, like, there's a word for it. It's like these sublime moments in life that kind of create some of the most impactful stuff. Like, even just that trust, sending it out to somebody. Like, how did it feel when you received it back?
I can't lie. I didn't let anyone in the house hear it. So when Max was raving about it, I had two reactions. I had one reaction from, okay, it's, because like I said, the sound of the album was very important. It had to sound full. So the fact that he liked that, I was like, okay, good. And he made a comparison to the previous album and how much it had grown because he did the cover for it. That was one thing. And then the second part was, he like sent me a voice memo or something about, like, he was like, yo, bro, like, you did like this? Because he knows the story. But he was like, this, like, you don't know what you just did. And that's how I feel about it. Like, to this day, sometimes, there's been times I cried over it. Sometimes I'm like, wow, like, you did that to myself. But I still think that's, like, one of my greatest feats, you know, to, like, get the feedback that something I was hesitant over and kind of just really said, fuck it, and followed the emotion and let it lead me. Somebody said, like, yo, like, my soul brother, literally the boy who would be me if I wasn't me. You know, my boy Holy, shout out Holy. I'm doing a lot of shout outs, I know. But he told me the other day, he's like, bro, I can't listen to that song often. Like, I listen to it one, like, it's like that song makes you question a lot of things because you talked about something so traumatic and how you made it, like, positive. And that's, I lie to you not. Everything I said in that song is true. I never held any hatred. That was my liberating moment. That's what made me know who I am. All the self-knowledge and all of that stuff. That's where that comes from. So to get the feedback and to know that it resonated, that was like, it made me feel like an artist.
Yeah.
Like, for real.
Have there been any other moments where you felt like that transformative feeling where you've had to walk with something like that?
Yeah.
Creatively.
When you say that, you mean like in terms of when the energy just...
I'm talking about, like, in specific, when you talked about how you started the song and you really needed to, like, okay, here's my first couple of lines. I'm gonna sit with it, almost like a thesis.
Yeah, literally. Yes. A lot of times when I edited the slide video, that's how that went. I was like, I hesitated a little bit and I just went, whoop. whoop, 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 whoop. It was like a combo, like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, there's a lot of times that happens, and I love when that happens, cause like, you know, I have like songs that are coming out that are that are me. All right, load up this YouTube beat, or load up whatever beats you got. All right. Uh, um, okay. There's a song that's gonna be coming out. They're called something Sonder, right? It's like on a Sonder beat. Long story short, I did the hook and I didn't have anything, right? The hook, I got the hook from it was a YouTube beat, and I saw the name of another song on another YouTube beat, and they had like the word cut in it. So I was like, okay, I made the hook from that, and then I was like, all right, how do I start the verse? Not even how do I start the verse. I'm making a song, but I don't know what to say next. And I saw the word render on my, you know what I mean, on my computer. So I just went with that. Like a lot of times, I go with the first thing that's off the top of my head, but there have been a lot of times where that streamline of thought, and it's more than just going off the top of your head. It's like there's a streamline of thought that's leading you, and I feel like a lot of my bigger and better feeling things that resonate with people, they come from that. Like the side video, people always tell me like it's like it feels like an MTV video. And it's like I've gotten that compliment a couple times every time I show people that, and they're like, and I'm like, yeah, I appreciate it, because that's literally what I came from, like what you talked about, that kind of like that streamline of just thought and like following it, you know.
Yeah. Unpack some of Slide, because
Love that song, man.
it does feel like there's like a word for it where it's just like a posse cut, kind of like it feels like something you can look back on. So
Yeah.
tell me.
I love that song. I feel like that song is my most commercial sounding song. I do think, I tell people all the time, and I'm gonna say this on this interview, I'm gonna go like probably, most likely gonna go like rap, rock, pop. You know, I think that's gonna be my trajectory music wise. I think, and I'm a detour in a second. Yeah, Slide is my most commercial song. I think it taught me a lot about layering my voice. It taught me about, you know, how to make a nice hook, how to even like the hook coming back 3 times, and on the third one having the ad-libs to where they make it a little bit different. Like it gave me a lot of knowledge. Shout out Blasian again. Like it gave me a lot of knowledge, and it feels like I could play. That's the one song I'm like, all right, I could play this for anybody, and they're going, okay, I like this. Like, okay, you not a, you know, people be like, oh, you make music, okay, let me hear it. You know what I mean? So that was I love that song. I'll always be thankful for that song. And then the video, man, that just took it to a whole nother level, because it feels so good. Like it feels like something I'm literally gonna be able to show my kids. Like that's your dad when he was, you know, in his early 20s. Like, yeah, you know, I'm cool now, but I was cool then too, you know. So, and this is the beginning of, you know, getting to that. So yeah. I think, yeah, that's Slide is one of those ones.
How does some of that like learned versatility, right, like impact your self-concept?
You know, sometimes, well, I don't, but I do. Really, I don't. Sometimes people say, oh, like you hear like the social media like rappers like pick a lane and stay in it, and sometimes I'm like, I listen to it, but me knowing it's not me and being able to follow me my whole life and get to good places is like, I don't care what the fuck they're saying, because that's not me, so I'm gonna be good. And seeing success in me being me, you know. But sometimes I also do think like, okay, how do I package all of it? But then somebody like Doechii comes out, and I'm like, okay, I'm good. Oh, sorry, thank you.
You good?
Yeah, somebody like Doechii comes along, and I feel like I'm good, because we're talking about somebody that's 26, hit the ground running, has been pumping for some time and you just didn't know it. And then got the just due, and now it feels like she was everywhere for a good amount of time and it is everywhere. And she's versatile as hell. Like, shout out Doechii. Like, she is so versatile. Like, super, but it's based in rap. She's a rapper. And that's where I was gonna go with my detour. I'm glad I returned to that. I like the term rapper. Call me a rapper. Wanna know why? Because I believe that when you're saying that, you're saying you're speaking to the future of music in that of itself, where that is the term that describes all the people that do all of the sounds, in my opinion. I think in 10 to 15 years, what you call a rapper will be the person who does it all. Whether it's on a pop kind of style, whether it's rock, the rapper is going to be the person that's doing all of that. So yeah, Doechii is a good example of that to me. She can do anything, and she's a rapper, straight all the way through. So
Yo.
yeah.
Production wise, like, what are you looking to get into like next?
Whew, I'm looking to get better. Better. I think I have an eye for, like I said, orator, alchemist, leader. I think as a leader, I've always been able to bring people together. And I started off doing that. But, looking at the production side and wanting it to mean and feel like something, I've gotten better at coming up with concepts, but I want to get more technical. I want to get to a point where, like, they're not just like, oh yeah, he's really good at color grading, and the color grade is nice, but that, like, wow, like, how did he do that? I want to get to a place where there's a message, there's a concept, and there's beauty in both of those things, and there's a beauty in the way and the organization and strategy to it. That's what I'm trying to get, not just better at, but that's what I want to translate. I think a lot of things translate, and I'm thankful because I just started. Really, like, I've always been a production, putting people together, but in terms of it translating to video and me putting things out for my own, I only have what I call 3 real videos out. I got Fly Away, Slide, Netcut, 4. Fly Away, Slide, Netcut Song, and Armor right now. And I got a whole plan for all the rest, and they're coming out. So I want to get to a point where, like, people are like, how is this person doing this? So that I could not do it anymore. And the reason why I'm saying that is so I can hire someone and say, hey, you have an actual background in this. I have a learned background in this, to where I've been able to produce things that look like I have an actual background in this, but you can do it better. This is what I want. I have the language to communicate with you correctly. Let's communicate. This is how we're gonna do it. Now I can focus on just the feeling. That's where I ultimately wanna go, but I know there are a couple steps that I have to get to where the person who has a film background and a background in all the crazy cameras are like, yo, how did you do that? Like, what's the strategy? And I'm like, yeah, like, I want to get there. So,
What is one thing you would say to the person who looks at your work and thinks it's miraculous?
Mm-hmm.
What is one thing you would want to say to them?
Mm-hmm. Not to be cliche, I want them to say, like, I would want to say to them, like, you're miraculous. Like, for real. Like genuinely, I got a little bit of a hater in me. Everybody got a little bit of hater in me. I be saying, yo, Love Island, everybody caught up on Love Island, like, da-da-da. Like, for real. I like, everybody got a CIA plot that they caught up in. Love Island isn't mine. Everybody does that. But that's me being honest to saying I'm not the star that's like, yes, you should be majorly inspired by me, but part of that inspiration is gonna be that I give it up. I'm gonna give it up and say this, that, what's real, you know what I mean? So I want them to look at my work and be like saying like a Netcut song, like, damn, this is like some real trauma type stuff. And he made it beautiful, but it doesn't feel too distant. And if that's not coming across, I'm gonna work on that. You know, because it's not. There's a possibility that's not coming across, and I gotta ask. You know, the people that are intaking it, but I want that to come across. And maybe I have to do more on the other side of the content that I'm showing, and I try to do it on my story. I try to be like real funny and like, you know, like colloquial on my story. But if there's more that I need to do with that, I'm going to. But yeah, that's what I want. I want to say like, yo, you're dope, bro. Like, whatever way, you know. So.
40 amped. You met Saya.
We out of here. That is lit. I love that. That was dope.